First semester, we were designing and we were getting our parts. We had absolutely nothing on our table except parts. Nothing was assembled, nothing was fabricated. From this term, we've got 4/5 of our stations practically done. As far as fabrication goes, and most of the assembly, we haven't mounted any of our stations down yet because we were worried about alignment for each station towards the tube.
So right now it's just basically layout.
Yeah. Altogether, our station, the process of the station, this is the tube dispenser. It holds tubes horizontally like this.
So what's this project?
It's a hopper. This project is a golf ball and tee tube assembly. Pretty much it's a tube. Imagine tees at the bottom, golf balls at the top, and a cap. And it's coming off at the end of the conveyor after it's all been completed. So the first stage of that process is we got our tubes. So it's got to put the tube in the turntable. This part here isn't up yet because of aesthetic reasons. As you can see, the glue kind of messed things up a bit, so we're not too sure how we're going to handle that yet. But altogether, I don't know if you want to move in, you won't be able to see it here. This will be attached like this, and it will actually force the tube to land vertically rather than horizontally.
So what are you going to do? Glue it on?
No, we're going to use brackets to attach. Okay. We're not going to use glue. We're not little cheapskates.
Okay.
It's all professional. The second stage is the tea dispenser. The legs still need to be cut down. You can see all of this is machined by Wasim. There's a lot of pictures in the report.
Wasim did something?
He did a lot of amazing machining.
Basically, all of his stuff is all made by him. His entire stand was made by him. His conveyors, everything was.
The only
got
problem,
it. Made it.
Yeah. The only problem is the tea hopper still needs to be mounted on, and he's got his tea ejection system built, just not assembled. It will force the teas land down onto this conveyor belt horizontally, and they will one by one be dropped down into this, which will force the teas to land vertically into the tube.
So what happens is it's going to be using a stepper motor with the program that he made. It's actually going to count how much to put in. So it's just going to drop a certain amount, it'll stop, and then when it's ready to do it again, it just repeats the process.
On the third stage of this entire process, we have a ball dispenser, and through the HMI we can select 2 different colors of golf balls that are going to be dropping into the tube, or we can have a mix. We can have one color and another color. What I had to do to figure out how I'm going to do that is I had to figure out how I'm going to sequence my actuators, how I'm going to put it all together. And as you can see, I built a little back panel here. You got the 4 cylinders. This will hold all of the balls up, and then when one ball needs to drop, this will retract and this will extend. It'll hold all of them, and then they'll be both pushed in.
That new magic story here?
Yes, sir, it did.
And the good thing is the angle that we have it on is actually to the point where the ball will drop into the tube.
It already
almost
does drop into the tube.
Nice. That was a concern at the start, right? How the heck are you going to get the ball in?
Basically, every station itself has very, very precise measurements that we have to do. And majority of them are working almost perfectly. If anything, it's just on my one section. The actual package itself isn't standing up when it's actually dropping. But it does make it to the end of the line every time. So that's a good thing.
That's the stage for troubleshooting.
Yeah, underneath the conveyor belt on my section, we were probably going to put little pads underneath just to basically cushion
Absorb the shock.
Because when it actually drops, it has a little spring to it. So basically we're going to try to cushion it, but also have it so there's not that much resistance on the conveyor belt itself. For my part, I had to machine basically the turntable. We originally had all small discs on the turntable. Actually, originally we had a metal disc on top of the turntable, which was from the original project, but we had to basically start from the ground up. So we basically found this one, which had smaller holes in it, and basically every screw head, we had to make a bigger hole that would basically fit the cylinder right into perfectly. There was a little bit of trouble there because we had to go downstairs and they were telling me that I couldn't do it, but obviously I did it.
It got done eventually.
I had to open it a little bit up with a Dremel tool, but all
You know, no one does automation so we cannot.
exactly.
There's
Yeah.
no one.
Exactly.
That's right.
Because I'll get it done.
What I'm talking about.
And then also on my section here, it's basically we're gonna have a robotic gripper, and I'm gonna have to find a way to mount it. And I'm gonna have to find a way to grip it on top of there and just attach it. And basically it's gonna come out to the last bay there, pick it up, bring it in,
It'll retract.
put it on the conveyor belt, and I've actually made this so when the T-tube does come down, it'll hit this part and it'll actually right itself up. About 85% of the time, it will stand up.
It'll drop standing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. We're trying to get it to drop 100% of the time.
That's wrong, man. Yeah, back up there.
That's why we need shock absorbers once it's dropped.
Yeah.
Very good.
Also, I'm going to have to remachine the gripper because that's
It's not gonna be like shaky.
Nope.
We're going to try to make it as sturdy as we can so we got no vibration. It's not going to be like an old school ABB robot.
All right. All right.
Right here is supposed to be the graphic station, which is being built right now. That's going to be done by Wasim. He's already started on the frame and everything. Once that's done, it's just going to, when it gets to this process here, it caps off each lid, and then it goes onto the injection station. For my part, what I did was, I've been helping a lot with the machining, but I've been concentrating mostly on the HMI and the panels. So originally, we didn't have this big panel in the back. We had these two small ones back here.
We already had the small ones.
They were already wired and everything, ready to go, and eventually we said we need a bigger one. So we went through and we got this big panel back here. We came to the problem where we were going to mount this. We wanted to originally put it on this side, standing up, but then we figured how we were going to get the wires to drop through and run to our table. So we came up with this neat idea to mount it exactly like this, so it stays off the ground and we're able to access it pretty easily.
So it can be movable.
And as you can see, the back plane is over there. On the smaller panels, I actually machined a brand new back plane, but then we got this and I started laying out everything and machining it and putting everything, all the holes in where it needs to be laid out properly. And as you can see, Mike and I, we were wiring it just
For the
a couple
last
minutes
4
ago.
hours or so.
So you have your inputs here wired to the terminals, and then you have your analog card, which will be also wired.
Having the terminals wired right now makes it a lot easier once we start wiring all of our components together, as well as it also allows us to start programming now, and we start marking all of our IOs, so that way this doesn't even have to be wired right now. We can make the program now and then put it back put it all together when we can.
So the good thing about all of this is everything is neatly in place. You run your tubes perfectly out through, there's a hole in the bottom of that panel. The hardest part of the entire table was getting all 3 tables, because they're all separate tables, so getting them to be as one. So I came up with a really neat idea of just using the HMI screen as a joining between the tables. Also in the back, we came up with another idea to just line up the back as well. So we used that mounting bracket for the panel to line up the tables in the back as well. This entire table was basically designed by me and made by me. So I figured out an angle that it could be mounted so it's easier to access by the user. And this looks fancy. Other than that, I've been concentrating on the backplane, getting it ready for programming, and we've also been working on a program for the HMI to get it